Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we should get started.
Yeah.
It is what, 7:04, and so I think this is a good place to pivot and talk about open houses. You know, open houses are a exciting thing. It really is. From the beginning to the end, from actually the planning stages to moving from step 1 to step 5, or from week 1 to week 5, it is exciting. And I say that because when you actually prepare a solid open house, you get the opportunity to wow individuals. Actually wow them, because your open house is so slick, so smooth. Everything is running as if it's been well oiled, like a machine. And then you have the opposite, where if you don't plan, then it's kind of like an old jalopy, one of those kind that shake like this when you're trying to rev up the engine. Doesn't look good. So it's really important that you take the time to plan, because that is all about the wow. And so those are the things that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the things that we need to do in order to plan for the wow, or the wow that we're going to deliver to our visitors. Because if we get them starstruck, then they'll have no other choice but to join. And I'm sure that this is what our club growth director wants. So I'm going to try to take you through several weeks of what needs to be done in order to have a great open house. So just give me a second here. Let's see if we can do this. Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, I see it.
Thank you, Angela. So I guess the question is, why? Why are we gathered together tonight to talk about open houses? So I'd like to hear from a few people in terms of what is their why? Why are you here? Is it because you're looking for something? You want something? You need something? Whatever the case may be, this is a safe place. And so you can tell us exactly what you're looking for.
Yes. Well, I think this is Victoria. I think there are more challenges to holding it online. In the old days, we would just, when we met in person, we would have pizza and invite people, and that would do the job basically. But now to persuade people to join us at a particular time in the middle of a busy day working from home, that's more challenging. So that's what I'm hoping to get out of it tonight.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, Elton, we're single. I'm interested to know what it takes to, hold an open house for Toastmasters. It is my first, I never done it even in person. So I just want to know the, nut and bolts of an open house.
Okay.
Yeah, Elton. This is David from
Yes, David.
Breakfast Club, and yeah, my goal is to learn how to plan it online. to plan an open house and how to work it out with our other executives, example, VP of Education, with our VP of PR, with the Sergeant at Arms, and so on. So that's my goal, how we can make it successfully online.
Okay, we have one other individual who just said that they're looking for the do's and the don'ts when it comes to open houses. So I'm going to try to cover as much as possible, and what I cannot cover, the material that, or the handouts that I'm going to give you guys will give you what you need in order to get the job done. So this is planning is what alleviates heartburn. I can't stress that enough. If you try to do this 2 weeks before, you know, then it's going to just be one of those slam bam thank you ma'ams, and you're not going to be proud of it, and your guests will not be as interested. So let's start with week 1. There was a gentleman, Toastmaster, by the name of Bob Reese, and he came up with this 6 steps to convert virtual guests into members. Now, the way he explains it, it is a beautiful thing, because what he does is he actually helps the person think through this whole thing about either joining Toastmasters or not. And so it's basically five questions that is asked to the user, to the visitor, that allows them to really think about whether or not they should do this. Now, I have a copy of the video, and I'm going to mix that as part of my package to you. But that is one of the first things that I want you to do, is I want you to listen to this video, because it is really, really important to get your head in the right frame of mind. And the right frame of mind is, we're doing this because we want to turn guests into members. And if we don't have the right this, then we're not going to turn them. And it's not just having the open house followed by a little conversation and then give them a packet or so and let them go, because it has to be something that they can remember that actually happened at the meeting. It has to be memorable. And the memorable thing is the conversation that happens between you and the guest. So this is what he talks about. He talks about that slick spark pan, the why. Why are you here? And about the cost. How much does it really cost to do this? And how much are you spending, money versus time? These are the things that you want to think about as you're beginning to work with or talk to the people that are at your clubs. Please, 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 please watch this video. It's only about an hour, but I can tell you, you will definitely be enlightened after listening to the video. Number 2, I have tons of marketing material that you guys can use that was supplied by Toastmasters International. I don't know if you had an opportunity to look at the July issue of the Toastmaster magazine, but in it, it was chock full of flyers and invitations, and you name it. It was in there, including things that talks about what we're going to talk about in a little bit, about the brand and how important it is to maintain or support the brand. You don't want to do anything that's going to infringe upon that, because if you do that, it basically weakens the look and the feel of Toastmasters, and that's one of the things that we don't want to do. So, what are you going to have? Will you have a guest speaker, or are you going to have somebody within your club? I'm going to say something. I'm sure it's going to probably be controversial, but if I don't say this, I'm going to choke and die. When you have a Toastmaster, whether it's in your club or not, and they come to your club, I'm saying it's a guest speaker, and they come to your club, who usually comes to the open house? Talk to me, somebody. Not you, Angela.
Guess.
But
Not members.
Pardon me?
It depends on how well known the person is. I don't know if it matters if they're a Toastmaster, because there are some well-known Toastmasters.
Okay. And did I hear somebody else chime in?
Hi, this is Dwayne here.
Okay,
That the people that are coming would be non-Toastmasters guests that are at different degrees of familiarity with the Toastmasters.
Okay. In my experience, I found that when I have a Toastmaster as the guest speaker, I find that it's more Toastmasters than non-Toastmasters. And this goes from having someone that's just, a member of the club, and I'm not saying that the person is not doesn't communicate well, but I just find even, and at one point we had the international speech contest winner for the district, and he gave his presentation. Beautiful presentation. But the only people that were there were the Toastmasters. Now, I don't know about you, but it's nice to have your brother in there. It's really nice, but that's not what we're looking for, because none of them joined. They all just say, oh, it was an excellent night. We love the speaker. It was great to hear him or her again. And then they leave. So I'm going to suggest that you look for someone that is not a Toastmaster. Maybe someone like maybe you're a PM, maybe a individual that's in your that's in the community that's well known, someone like that. And I think if you have someone like that come and speak, then because that individual is well known within the community, I think that you get a better chance of getting people from the outside to come in, as opposed to having people that are already on the inside coming to visit. That's just my thoughts on it.
Alton,
Yes.
I'd like to back up what you just said with our experience last year. We asked an experienced Toastmaster to lead an evaluation workshop, because that's what our members said that they thought would be great if we did that for the open house. And he did a fabulous evaluation workshop. We all loved it, but we didn't get any guests. You're absolutely right. In fact, I recognize you as one of the Toastmasters that came to our open house last year.
And I thought this mask would save me. Okay, so that's what I'm sorry, what was I saw something that Angela was asking. Was that something that you were trying to ask, Angela?
Yeah, sorry, Elton. I was
That's
just
okay.
trying to respond on some of the questions in the chat.
Wonderful.
I don't want to disrupt your presentation, so maybe during the Q&A, we can ask some of those, can answer some of those questions that people have in the chat for you.
Okay. All right. Either way, you want to not answer them? I have no problems with that, Angela.
Okay. Well, there will be a Q&A, right? Section.
We're going to try to have a Q&A at near the end, so we have like about 10 minutes for Q&A.
Okay. So maybe yeah, maybe some of these questions could be asked and interjected during your presentation if it's to the point that you're making, if you don't mind.
No, I do not. I do not
disrupt
mind.
your flow.
No, I don't. I do not mind, Angela. And
Okay,
thank you. And thank you for
so
that.
if I can ask you some of the questions that's in the chat if this is a good time.
Okay.
Okay, so Paula asks if the guest, so even if the guest speaker is known by the community, but that person may not necessarily have the skills that a Toastmaster have, in presenting in an open house. What do you think about that?
Okay, this is where I think you have to allow the speaker to go with their strength. That would be just okay. That would be just like your PM that lives in the community, and
Right.
you have them there. They may not be the best in terms of speaking or a best speaker, but they do have strong points, and they are a politician, and so they do have a style of delivering their message. Now, the point is not about how well the individual speaks, but it's about how large is their following. Because we want to get them to come in, and we want them to sit around so that we can get to them and start talking to them about the value and the benefits that Toastmasters deliver.
Right. So by their certain presence, they will be able to attract the community members, such as Gordon Lightfoot. He's not at his prime in performing, very frail, but yet he's attracting, thousands of members to attend his concerts because of his presence and in the community. Yeah. So I guess another question, if you don't mind, is that your PowerPoint and this recording how will you be sending it out through an email to share with the people that have registered for this workshop, or how do they receive it?
I have your email addresses already because you had to register. And so once this is over, I'm going to put this video on our YouTube, on our D60 TV channel. And then I will send it to you. I'll send the link to you along with information as to how to, that all the things that we talked about will be in a packet, and you'll get that as well. So you'll get everything.
Okay. So that includes the PowerPoint and the video.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So now, who's going to conduct table topics is the next thing. And you want somebody who is going to make table topics fun. And you want the table topic, the topic to be as open-ended as possible, because that's the way that you're going to be able to attract the visitor, right? If the table topic is too hard, then they're just going to shrink away. They're going to say, no, no, thank you. I'll just sit here and I'll just watch everybody else. And that's not what we want. We want to get them involved. So come up with the easiest questions, wide open questions that are going to allow them to say, oh yeah, this is easy. I can handle this, and get them to participate in the meeting. Now, who's going to be your Toastmaster? Probably want to have somebody who is going to be more like an MC, someone that's going to really be able to carry the meeting, someone who knows how to make the transitions from one part of the meeting to the next. Lots and lots of eye contact with the members of the club and the visitors. This is not one of those times, I think, where you want an individual who maybe is a little shy, a little bashful. There are other roles that individual can fit and do well. And I'm not saying that individual would not do well as the Toastmaster, but perception is everything. And so we want to make sure that we're putting on a solid, good show for the guests, because we want them to become members. All right, so now you want to create your open house flyer is what you want to do. And one of the ways that you can create it is there's on the Toastmasters International website, there are tons of flyers and all types of things that you can download and you can use them. And they're all PDF writable. So that means that you can actually type in your the club's contact information and maybe who the speaker is going to be and all that type of good stuff. You can get all of that from the Toastmasters International website. Now, there is another site, and I'm going to see if I can do this without killing myself, but I'm going to stop sharing for a moment here. And what I'm looking for is there is a I cannot find it. Oh my God. Okay, hold on. Let me do it this way. God. All right, so now I'm going to go back into share. Okay, so we're back online here. And now I'm going to just grab hold of my browser. And this is something that was put together by District 69. But also, I think that the Toastmasters International PRM, Public Relations Manager, has a hand in this. But you see all of these flyers. You can use these flyers. Aren't they beautiful? And no sweat, right? They're very beautiful, I think. And they're all are Word docs. And let's see if we can get into one. Open. So if you have Word, or if you have a Word compatible editor, then you're fine. You'll be able to use this. Now, you see the way it's all laid out? If you don't like it like this, you can change it, because all the pieces move. See that? All of them. I may not even want to use this picture. I can take this out and I can put mine in. And that goes for almost every piece that's sitting here. You're able to move it. You see? I can move all of these pieces. So what this also means is that I can take the selection that we saw earlier, and I can cut and paste pieces from one from another to come up with maybe the way I would like to my flyer to be. Maybe there's just one or two things that you don't like about the flyer, and so you want to maybe take it from one of these flyers that are on this list and add it to yours. Or you may want to just grab hold of some brand compliant objects and insert these in. The beauty of this is that you can move and switch and change these around and do whatever you want, but they will be brand compliant. And that's one of the big things this year with Toastmasters, is the importance of being brand compliant. In our my PRM workshop, they talked, public relations managers workshop, they talked a lot about the Toastmasters brand and how important it was for us to follow it. So I am just passing that on to you guys as it was for me.
So Elton, so a question came in. It says that these flyers, is there a link in your presentation that will take us to there, or is this part of your package?
Yes, they're in my, there's a list of links and things that I'm going to give you. And one of those links that's in there is take you directly to this page that I just showed you. So as I said earlier, whatever I show you will be part of the package that I'm going to show you guys.
Okay, great.
Now let me get back to where I was. You got to go now. Sometimes I think,
one of the questions, earlier questions, Elton, and I don't know, you might cover this later, is that
that's okay.
The do's and don'ts for online open houses.
I can quickly put something together. I don't have a list of like, okay, do this, don't do that, do this, don't do that. Because I find that, every club has their own, it's different for every club. Most clubs have their own way of doing things. I don't want to become the mandatorian when it comes to open houses, but I will put together what I think, what you can and what I think you should do and what you shouldn't do. And these will just be suggestions, not where I'm demanding that you do these things.
Right. I guess some of the obvious thing is that whoever's presenting should have a good setup, good lighting and camera, whether or not they want to stand or sit down, right? that type of thing.
Yes, and that is one thing that I didn't will mention right now, is that whoever the speaker is, I'm going to suggest that you suggest them to stand, because we want it to feel as close to the real thing as possible, not have the individual sitting there giving the speech.
Right, right.
We want it close to real life as possible. Okay, so now let me get back to where we were. Okay. You want to, and make sure that you take photos of your screen. Can you do that? There's tons of ways of doing it. I know if you're using Windows, there is a capture button on the on your key on the top row keys. I don't know exactly, I don't remember which one, but it is called the print screen key. I do remember that. And there's other software packages that you can actually use that will do the same thing. And I find that using these, finding a free software package to do that, something like Faststone is an excellent product, I think, that produces excellent photographs, tight, high res, beautiful. And so, and you can download that. That is free. So now we have we know who's going to be the speaker. We've got the Toastmaster. We got the table topics person. We already know who that's going to be. We know what our flyers are going to look like. We've already, let's say, we prepared our flyers. We've got them all done. So now it's time to start pushing it out there, getting the word out there. We want people to see that you are reaching out to, you want everyone to know that you're reaching out to your community or communities so that you can have a strong open house. There on the District 60 website, under resources, there is a list of places that you can links that you can click on where you can publicize your open house. And this is where I think where you have the opportunity to wow them, because as we know, because of the fact that we're using Zoom, and we know that people can come from all over the planet, then there is no restriction in terms of who and where you promote. And that resources, I think it's like about 16 different links. They are all over the city and beyond. So I would definitely look at those. I went through them. I think there were a couple of them that had died, but I fixed those. So you should have a full list of organizations that you can connect to advertise. Now, if you have links that you've used in the past, then I'm going to say add those in with it. Let's not exclude any link that you may have so that you can get the most bang for the time that you're spending with in preparation. All right, so what other things? Some people want to use a club banner. And, you know, I get that because, you know, I'm from the old school. So, you know, I'm used to, I want a banner in the back, you know, I want the whole 9 yards, you know, where people know when they're sitting there looking at who's ever in front of the camera, they know that they're looking at my club. And there's a way of doing that. Is it kind of difficult? Yes, but these steps that I am prepared to give you are the same steps that we use during our conference. Remember all of the people at the very, very beginning of the conference where they were talking about their clubs and how wonderful their clubs were, and all of them had their banner behind them. There's a way of being able to create them so that you wind up with a background. And with that background, you're able to insert it into Zoom or Google Meet for that matter, and have that look and feel of what you would normally have if you were having it at a real brick and mortar place. And there's a link that I'm going to give you, but and you can see it here where it says Zoom background link, and there's underlined there, but and I can't click here, but here, this is where you can find out exactly what you do in order to create it, and then how to actually insert it as a background if you don't know how to do that. If you don't know anything about Zoom, if you guys don't have a Zoom account, here we talk about how do you go about creating a Zoom account and what's necessary in doing that, and whether or not if you're going to go with free versus paid. Now I'm sticking with kind of like Zoom because I get the feeling that this is something that Toastmasters International is I'm going to say with, because just about a couple of weeks ago, they sent out this announcement that if you have a Zoom account, that they gave us a coupon code. And if you use that coupon code, you get to have a year, a substantial discount through that code. And especially if you, what's the word? It will last for a year. So you insert the code into working with the Zoom person, and the next 12 months, your Zoom account will not be charged. That goes for any club that has a Zoom account. Any club, as long as you have a license, then you're eligible to use that. And by filling out a survey that Toastmasters International provided, you're able to get that link after you submit the form. Does anybody have any questions about that? Well, okay. All right, so you want to have, here's some ideas just for a successful open house. One, you want to make sure that you have an ideal theme, a theme that's going to inspire your audience. Number two, you want to make sure that your guests are going to be available to chat, right? So it should be you and the members. And I'm going to go right into this right now. I think I talk about this later, but I'm going to talk about this now. One of the most important things that you can do is set up breakout rooms. Does everyone know what breakout rooms are?
Yes.
Okay. Set up breakout rooms. Set up, I don't know how many, well, I would say probably set up about maybe somewhere between 5 and 10 breakout rooms. And then pair the guest with a member. Now, we're hoping that all of the members have watched Bob Reese's video. Remember the first thing that we talked about? watch that video so that when you are talking one-on-one with this individual in a breakout room, you'll know exactly what you want to say and ask. Because this way there is no noise, there's no distractions, it's you and that individual. And I can tell you that it's very, very successful because we use it at my club every meeting. When we have a guest, then the VP membership and a few other people, they are paired off with our guest, and they go off and they talk in the quiet and in the peacefulness of a breakout room. So remember to use these breakout rooms to isolate and to communicate. You want to make sure that you have like about 15 minutes for the breakout room. So when you're talking to the person, because you don't want it to feel rushed. You want it to feel very casual, very natural. You don't want to come off as if you're a salesperson. That's not the intent. The intent is to have a conversation and then to be able to persuade the individual to see how Toastmasters can help them. You want to have a guest packet. And what do you think should be in the guest packet? Anyone?
Victoria.
Yes, Victoria.
Information about when the club meets and the frequency of meetings and how long they last. But also, I think maybe a general thing that just talks about the benefits of Toastmasters, maybe some testimonials from members of that club.
I like it. Excellent. There are other things too. Can anyone think of some other things that may be able to work in that?
Yes, Sheldon, I think it is important, guests know how much it costs to be a member, how long, 6 months, yearly, because some clubs charge you a half year, other clubs a year, and every club has their own fees. There is no standard set. So, anytime you want to buy something, you want to know what is the price. Is it on sale or not?
Hey, I agree with you 100% on that. And yes, you want to make sure that you have that membership application as part of your guest packet. Toastmasters International says, don't be shy. Don't be shy.
I was just going to say
Yes.
some information on pathways as well, a little bit about the resources behind the club as well.
Yes, pathways. I think it's important that if you're gonna talk about pathways, it should be high level.
I wouldn't go there yet. Pathway is a little bit confusing even to members who have been there for some time. It didn't sell me for a long time, so I wouldn't really go into that area for guests.
That's why I said high. That's why I said high level, where you talk about where you mention the fact that our 21st century educational program pathways, and then you move on. I think that's about as far as I want to go with that, because you're right. Some people that would frighten them if they had to see what they're getting themselves involved with.
Fair enough.
All righty. Okay, so now week 5. This is where now you've had the meeting, and so now what you want to do is you want to follow up with the guests now, and you want to send them a personal email. as opposed to a form letter. You know what I mean? When I say form letter versus personal, this is one of the reasons why Google Forms comes into play, where you can create a very, very easy form that you can have your guests fill out as soon as they arrive, with maybe a few questions about, you know, what made them come here, what did they expect, what occupation are they in, and what part of the city do they live in. And at the bottom of it, make sure that you're saying that what the intent of the club is in terms of using their information, which is nothing. We're just going to use it to communicate with you. But it's very important to have that information at the bottom, because you don't want any of the visitors to balk at that and go, wait a minute, what are you going to do with this information? And now you're trying to explain it. It's better to just have it at the bottom of the form. Google Forms are extremely easy to use and to create. That's out of the scope of this workshop, but this is something that can be done within half an hour to create a beautiful form that anyone can fill out online, because you don't want them to try to tell you the information while you're in the breakout room. You already want to be able to say, yes, we already have that information, and I'll be able to contact you. We talked about the digital guest packet. You want to make sure that you, when you email this person back, that you invite them to come back. You want them to know what next week's agenda looks like. And then someone else said something about video testimonials that you get from the club. And if you don't have them from the club, Toastmasters International provides testimonials that they can that you can use in place of ones that would normally come from your club. Okay, so now this is just a checklist. I guess this is kind of like the do's. Okay, so you want to make sure you have a membership application. You want to set a goal for how many guests and members you're going to have. Especially, how many guests do you want? And don't be ashamed to think big. You know, if you think you can nail 10 guests to come to your club, then say 10 of them. Just say it. Aim big. If you don't get there, who knows? And you'll get maybe 5 of them. And that is wonderful, to have 5 guests that you can actually communicate with about the value and the benefits that Toastmasters deliver. Make sure you book your guest speaker in advance. And even if it is going to be someone in your club, make sure that they have plenty of time to prepare their presentation as well. You want to confirm who's going to be the Toastmaster of the day. This is very, very important. And then you want a Toastmaster to give a motivational speech, a testimonial about the wonders of your club and the benefits of being a member of your club. And then you want to, I don't know if you guys know what these are, but there is something called PSAs, they're public service announcements, that you can actually send to radio stations. And if they just grant you the opportunity, they will run them once or twice a week to help promote your event. And our PSAs, again, is something that's not talked about in this meeting, but I do have information that I'm going to give you that talked about that, about PSAs at length. And then the flyers that I showed you that you can use to distribute. And I also want to say, even though those flyers were in what is it, in Word, if you're going to send these through the internet, I would definitely convert them into PDFs, because PDFs travel well through the internet. Sometimes if you have Word documents and you try to pass them, more times than not for me, I receive some and the information is jumbled all up. So if you lock it down by creating a PDF, then you don't have that problem. And I think, oh, one more. Okay, so again, these are other things. You want to have your members bring at least 2 guests. We already talked about the breakout rooms. You want to have floaters to your network, so to answer questions. You want to announce your open house through something called Snapd. So if you type in at your browser snapd.com, it will allow you to, there's a drop-down menu, and it will allow you to determine what area of the city you wish to promote. You may wish to promote in several areas of the city. And with this website, you are able to do that. And this is one that's highly recommended by District 60. You want to do follow-ups and phone calls if necessary. And I found there is another checklist that that is on the the Toastmasters District 60 website that has a lot of the do's as well on it.
So David, yeah, David Gomez has a question.
Yes.
Do we have a sample of the Google form that we can send to follow up with guests?
Yes, I can create I can make a sample out of mine, and I will put that in there. But I don't have a drop, something I can give you to drop in and say, okay, just run with this. But I'll look into that. I'll see what I can do.
Okay, thanks, Elton.
Okay, so this is the time when you get to push me around now. And believe me, and you know, one thing I can say, if I don't know the answer, I definitely know. I think I know where I can get the answer, and it has to be, for me, I think it has to be a learning experience for everybody. So if it's something that comes up and I don't know the answer, then that's a learning experience for me.
Elton, I have a question on these open houses.
Yes.
How successful are they, you know, on average, these open houses get how many members on average per club? 1, 2, 5?
I am going to say that it depends on how well that you promote will determine how much, how many people that you're going to get. By the way, I almost forgot something that's super important, is that the district is providing meetup accounts for all of the clubs. So this is normally something that I think it's like what, 70, 75, anywhere from $75 to $80. I'm sorry, $90 a month. But the district is taking it and taking care of that. And all you need to do is talk to either your area or division director in order to get set up. You don't want to forget that. That's
Yeah, so it's each division director has a share group meetup account, which they can use to post events for their clubs in their division. So if you have any particular, events such as an open house that you want to promote using Meetup, and your club doesn't have a Meetup account, that might be an avenue to pursue with your area and division director.
And then if you're using the Meetup account, it also allows you to transfer information to your Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn accounts if you have those.
And
Yeah.
is it just for posting or also for chatting to these meetup accounts?
What you can do with the Meetup account is that you not only can you send information out to individuals, but you also can collect information about the people who are visiting your Meetup page.
So it's not a chat group. In other words, it's just, posting or getting information on these accounts.
Yes, it's not like a where you're chatting with someone in real time. It's not like that.
Yeah, it's just really a forum to advertise, your events, so that if as part of your advertisement for a meetup, you might have a Zoom registration link or any type of registration link that you can have as part of your meetup advertisement, which they can click to register for your open house or for your events. So it's just a forum. If you Google Meetup, you'll see how that may be set up.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
And anyone else? Anyone else have questions for the dynamic duo?
Is it every year activity and happens in the month of October? Because I'm active member as of last October, so all these things are new to me. What's happening in Toastmasters, district level, international level, or whatever.
Well, you go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, so Vet, when you say if this is new, like we had open house, last year. So, but this is coming from the district, not international, not Toastmasters International, our open house campaign in the month of October. So October the 1st to the 30th, we're promoting, open house within our district, and there's going to be another one that will be promoted in the month of April, next year, still
Thank
within
you.
our term.
Thank you.
My question is about how to use the Google Docs. Getting guests' contact information is something I struggle with on Zoom. The best I've been able to do is ask them to put their email account, like if they show up at the meeting and I haven't emailed them ahead of time, to ask them to put their email address in the chat. But like, how physically do you share a Google Doc while you're running the meeting?
All right. So I'm willing to spend because I was planning to keep it at an hour, but I can actually just come out of this and actually go into Google Forms and show you. Would that help?
Yes.
Yeah, it's on the physical sharing. I don't know while I'm on Zoom.
So Karen, once you create that Google Doc, you will have a link. So you can copy and paste that link into your chat. So when your guest clicks on that link, they will be open to the Google Doc where they can enter, their contact information. That would be how you can use Google Doc to capture their feedback on how they like the club, as well as entering, their contact information.
Okay, that's great. So you would share the link with them in the chat?
Right.
Okay, and then they would click on it in the chat, and then it's up to them if they fill it out or not.
Correct. Yeah. Once you click on the chat, it will open on their browser the form, asking them questions such as their name, their contact information, and whatever type of questions that you want to ask. And how they like the club, etc. Their feedback from the open house.
That's great. I mean, we used to do it on paper when we were in person, but we've not done it since we've gone to Zoom. So that's great. Just Elton, Angela gave me what I needed.
Oh, good.
I couldn't visualize the link that the Google Doc would give you.
Okay. But this is the only way to travel, because doing it with the chat is not the answer, because with the Google form, you get to ask them questions about, what made them come here? Why are you here? Oh, because, when I start talking, in front of people, it feels like, I have glue in my mouth, and I really have a problem talking to people. So now when you go to write back to this person, email this person, that is the information that you're going to use in your reply, right? Toastmasters has been around for 90 years. Toastmasters can help you with that glue in the mouth syndrome. Come back, let us help you. However you want to word it. But this way, these individuals understand, or they, that, wait a minute, someone is actually listening to my need, what my need is, not in general, but what I need. That's why I say stay away from what do you call those things? Form letters.
I just wanted to say thank you very much, Elton, for taking your evening to explain and to encourage us in the open house. And thank you also, Angela, for being the moderator here.